Today, I want to talk to you guys about one of the most misunderstood topics in our society. I want to really get into why some of us find it easy, relatively easy, to set goals, pursue them, achieve them, and why some of us perpetually struggle. I'm sure a lot of you have achieved goals in your past and have wondered why you can't keep doing that over the years, and why it is something you can only do at a certain time, and then that skill somehow just disappears. And some of you might be thinking, why is it that other people are so good at it, and why do I have to struggle to set and achieve my goals? Okay, whatever the goals may be. So let's look at that and unravel that slowly. Okay, firstly, why do we have goals in the first place? Why have goals? Now you might say, well, I have a business idea, or I've always wanted to be financially independent, and I'm tired of doing my job. I'm tired of slogging day after day, and year after year, and I want to really do something on my own and have my own business. So I need to set a goal and pursue that goal. Yes, but why? If you're a writer, if you're a musician, why do you want to be a writer? Why do you want to be a musician? And if you look at the deeper layers, then something interesting begins to surface, which is we are seeking goals for the sake of some kind of pleasure, some kind of satisfaction, some kind of achievement to show others, to prove others that we are capable of doing it. Or we are chasing our goals such that we make money, such that we achieve fame, popularity, influence. All of these are different forms of pleasure. Simple enough. So, first thing is, if I'm seeking my goal and through that goal I'm seeking pleasure, then I'm running into deep trouble. Why? Because guess what else provides me pleasure? Lazing around, lying around watching the television for hours, surfing the web, reading the news, playing video games, watching movies, watching Netflix. So, all these things also provide me pleasure. And so, why would my brain ever choose the pleasure which is 6 months down the line, 2 years down the line, if I can have my pleasure right away? You see, and that's the fundamental problem. The first problem is that we are really seeking pleasure through our goals. And if I seek pleasure through my goal, then of course I have trouble pursuing my goal because pleasure is so readily available through all the other things. If I seek pleasure through keeping myself fit, if I want to look good in the mirror, if I want to impress people through my figure, my muscles, whatever, of course I also get pleasure from eating a tub of ice cream, from eating cake. And so then my brain pursues the pleasure that is readily available as opposed to pleasure that is long term, which is not yet promised. So that's the first thing. If you seek pleasure, that's the first problem. The second reason why we struggle to pursue our goals, in addition to seeking pleasure, is our avoidance of fear. Okay, very important. Fear is an old enemy. It wreaks havoc in our lives. And the reason why it does that because there is past trauma, there are negative beliefs implanted in us through people who raised us, implanted in us through experiences we have had over several years, or certain traumatic incident. Whatever the cause of fear being, that fear comes up as the minute I choose a direction to pursue my goals. If I want to, let's say, start my own business, suddenly there is a fear that says, what if you cannot pay your bills? What if you're out on the street? What if you lose all your money? What if you default on your loans? Fear, fear, fear. And this fear comes from negative beliefs, comes from old experiences, comes from being programmed by society, by experiences saying you are not good enough, you are not smarter than the others, other people are smarter than you, other people are good at sports, at education, in studies at school, or even at work. Other people know how to talk to their managers, how to pitch an idea, how to get promotions. Everybody else is good except you. And so that fear of failure stands guard. So first thing is my pursuit of pleasure. Second thing is my fear of failure. Then there is also a third problem, which is if I set a goal, I start overthinking. I become confused. I have too many avenues in which my brain works. I enjoy so many things. I have so many hobbies. I suddenly read a book about one thing today about climate change today. The other time I'm reading a book about economics. Then I'm reading a spiritual book, and then I'm reading something else. And I'm reading a novel. And so I'm all over the place. My brain is all over the place. Throughout a day, I have 10,000 thoughts going in 100 different directions. And so I'm living in confusion. And so I cannot pursue my goal because every time I begin to pursue, I get distracted. So distraction is the third problem. Confusion, overthinking, distraction, all in the same category. First problem, I'm really seeking pleasure. Second problem, fear of failure. Third problem, overthinking. See, confusion, overthinking, distraction. So, how do we address this? You follow me so far? How do we address this? Now, let's look at the first problem first. Why do we seek pleasure? Because we are seeking external validation, isn't it? We are seeking monetary gain, popularity, fame, whatever have you. It is external in nature, approval, validation. It's all external. It's not internal. And so, if it is external and not internal, it becomes a form of pleasure. It becomes a form of pleasure which can easily be had through things such as not doing much, being lazy, being lethargic, taking the convenient path, sticking around in the same job just because it is comfortable. See? And so we have to retrain that from seeking not pleasure, but to seek a particular actualized vision. And so I don't seek pleasure, but I seek my own vision. What is a vision? If you're wondering, a vision is not extrinsic. A vision is not me receiving accolades for my achievements. A vision is me doing the thing that I love beautifully. Vision for a musician is me playing a particular complex composition without a single mistake, flawlessly. A vision for a writer is me creating such emotions in the reader, me putting words which catch fire on the book. They jump at me, they grab me, they take me, transport me into a different world. Me, not the next reader, but me, myself, my own words. That's my vision. If you're a businessman, that the excellence with which you want to run your business, see, ethically, doing it in a way where you treat everybody properly, people who work with you, you treat them fairly, you create relationships, you create good teams, you hire good people. So that's you running a business and having a vision about how you run your business. What do the day-to-day operations feel like? What is your mental state when you go to work and then you come back home? That's your vision. Everything about your vision is intrinsic. Not one shred of it comes from outside. Okay, so first create a vision and then pursue that vision. That's the first thing. Now we come to the second. What to do about the fear of failure? Okay, well, the answer to that also comes from the first, which is once I have my vision, I start writing about my vision in a journal. I start describing what that vision looks like. I start creating and building a process around that vision. See, so what that does is when I talk about my own vision to myself, when I meditate upon the daily problems I face, upon the goal I have, I begin to reframe the negative beliefs I have about myself. When I start writing my own journal, when I start writing about the direction I want to move in, I come across problems. naturally. I come across this fear, then I write about that fear. But my vision, the clarity of my vision, keeps slowly convincing me that it is doable. I now begin to see myself do the thing, and the joy of seeing myself do the thing overrides the fear of failure. See? So when I start creating this habit of waking up every single morning, meditating on my problem, meditating on my goal, which is meditation is a different subject, obviously. I'll make more videos about it. But when I meditate, and after my meditation, I immediately pick up a journal and I start writing about it. The way I write sinks the idea that I'm chasing deeper. See? So I create these insights and I write about those insights. For example, I say, I wake up at 5 a.m. and I work on my business idea, which is I think about the process of surrounding my business idea. I wake up at 5 a.m. and think about my business idea. And if you write this every single day in your journal, so what that does is it inspires you to see yourself doing that thing. And pretty soon, even if you don't wake up right away, a week later, after saying this thing over and over again, the subconscious mind understands the idea. It grabs hold of it, and suddenly one day your eyes open and it's 5 a.m. It's unbelievable how the subconscious mind starts doing the thing that we program it to do. And so my negative beliefs begin to subside. My fear of failure begins to take the back seat, and I start taking actions towards whatever goal I am pursuing. Okay. And so again, you see that this is not extrinsic. It is I wake up at 5 a.m. It's not my business becomes successful. It's I wake up at 5 a.m. So even the affirmations I write in my journal, the things that I write in my journal are intrinsic, action oriented, in the present tense, and quite specific. Okay. And sometimes you have to write insight based affirmations. So sometimes you have to say to yourself, I am guided by my intuition. I'm guided by my intuition and my passion, for instance. I'm guided by my intuition and my passion. And so even though there are unknowns, I am still guided by my intuition and my passion. And we write it in our journal every single day. And you begin to see those negative beliefs begin to shift. When those negative beliefs shift, the fear of failure goes away. Now we come to the third thing. Okay. So the first thing we talked about was create our vision, see ourselves performing that vision. So that's the first thing. Second was writing in your journal, making sure you describe that state in which you are fulfilling your vision, writing insights that support you, writing specific things, specific actions you need to take towards your vision. And slowly, we come to the third one, which is creating and following the process without questioning it. So, any goal that you're pursuing in your life, it has a certain process. Whether you want to become a businessman, a writer, or what have you, whatever it is that you want to become, you want to start your own um, side gig, don't want to leave your job, but you want to do something on the side. Whatever it is that you want to do, there is always a process that surrounds it, which is if I want to, let's say, become a professional writer, then I need to understand how to write, which means I need to understand how to communicate, which means I need to have a unique voice in which I communicate. I cannot copy others. I can learn from others, but I cannot copy others. So, what is my unique voice? That is my vision. How to develop that unique voice, which is I need to practice. I need to show my writing to people who understand writing, get feedback from them. I need to take writing classes. I need to read books about writing, and so on. So, that becomes my process. And that process needs to have a certain pattern to it, a cyclical pattern to it, which is writing involves reading, which means I read 50 pages every day. Then I wake up at a certain time and I write 1,000 words every day. That is a part of my process. And once I figure out whatever that process is, it is going to differ from goal to goal. It is going to differ from person to person, but it has certain characteristics to it. It is repetitive. Every single time you go through that process, it gives you a certain enjoyment, which is if I'm trying to become fitter, healthier. I go to the gym every day, I work out every day, I eat a certain thing every day, I have a proper nutrition plan. And once I finish that cycle once, it gives me joy. It gives me a sense of making progress. See? So that's my process of becoming healthy. Establish whatever process that you need to establish based on the goal you are pursuing. Clear? Once you establish that process, you need to follow the process for at least 30 days without questioning it. If you keep questioning it, then you run into overthinking, confusion, which was our third problem, if you remember. And so I create a process and I follow that process without questioning it. So I have three problems and I have three solutions. First problem was pleasure seeking. I address that by creating my own vision. I don't seek pleasure, I seek my vision. Second, I have fear of failure because of my negative beliefs, because of my trauma and what have you. I address that by writing about the way I'm going to fulfill my vision. I create a positive voice. I write about my insights. I write about positive affirmations and I override those negative beliefs. Third, I have a problem with overthinking, confusion, distraction. I address that by creating and focusing my energy into a process. I create a process and I stop questioning the process. I start repeating the process, which is I instill the habits necessary for me to keep walking on the path that leads me to the fulfillment of my goal.